It's episode news, I'm Red to Joey, and today we're talking about the newer cards from X and Y. The first two cards I want to talk about are Mega Venusaur and Mega Blastoise. Now, I've already devoted an episode to Mega Venusaur, so I'm not really going to focus on that too much. But we have had the recent revelation of Mega Blastoise. And what a revelation! Mega Blastoise is nearly as big as his counterpart Mega Venusaur with 220 hit points. One attack, Hydro Bombard, which for 3 water energy delivers 120 damage, plus 30 damage to 2 of your opponent's bench Pokemon, has a retreat cost of 3, and a weakness to grass. Now I've already seen a couple of people up in the air about how good Mega Blastoise really is, and to be honest, I think it's absolutely amazing. It's 3 energy for 180 damage output. And really what I've seen is that people are trying to say, does Mega Blastoise outperform Black Kyra Max? Is it a better Black Kyra Max? It's like, it's not really the same card, it does a different job. Mega Blastoise X is basically Darkrai for Blastoise variants. Instead of it being a case of, oh, here's a flat 200 damage, now it's, here's 180, I'm going to put 120 in your active, take it and like it, 30 on that bench guy, 30 on that bench guy. I'm going to set up my future KOs. Mega Blastoise, as I said, is just Darkrai for the Kelly Blastoise matchup. It's just basically a water variant on a super Darkrai. It really is. It's all I can really say about it. It's got the ability to tank, it's going to be able to take the hit L2 due to those huge hit points, and, well, basically 120 and 230s isn't something to be shrugged off. I mean, I think the best way I can actually cover Mega Blastoise is by actually commenting on the whole fact that when Darkrai X was first shown to us, a lot of people didn't rate it. It was 3 energy for 90-30, and people were like, could be better, you know, like, we've got things that have the same energy cost but do 120 flat to the active. And look what happened. Ever since its release, Darkrai hasn't left the format. It's been an amazing card. Who's to say that Mega Blastoise isn't the same story? People might be umming and ahhing about it now, but as soon as we get it, it'll be a case of, here's my Mega Blastoise, here's 3 energy, 120, 30, 30, 120, 30, 30, claim 2 prizes, claim 2 prizes, claim 2 prizes, GG, okay? I'm not saying it's the best card ever, but it's good. It's good. I'd be surprised if nobody uses it. I really would. But now let's step away from Mega Pokemon and let's look at our Kalos starters. And I don't mean the bad ones from the Kalos starter deck. We're getting reprints of the Kalos starters in our English X and Y set, each of which carries its own ability. This is very similar to what happened to Samurott, Ember, and Serperior back in Black and White. We got the vanilla versions, and then we got the ability versions. And, well, the ability versions tended to be better. So, let's start straight off with Chestnut. Hoping I'm pointing in the right direction there. Chestnut is the first of the Kalos starters to actually show us that his signature attack has been made into his ability. Chestnut is a stage 2 with 160 hit points and the ability Spiky Shield. If Chestnut is your active Pokemon and takes damage from an attack, you'll deal 30 damage to the attacking Pokemon. It's basically, it's rough skin, it's Rocky Helmet. And to be honest, it's not bad. It's not too good either. It's very hit and miss. It's very hit and miss, and I don't rate it too highly myself. I don't think it's bad, but I think it could be better. Chestnut also has a one attack called Touchdown, which for 2 grass and a double colourless allows you to deliver 90 damage and heal 20 damage from Chestnut. Chestnut also has a weakness to fire and a retreat cost of 4. Now, when I'm looking at Chestnut, he has some nice stuff going for him. You know, good artwork. It's the whole fact that he's 160 hit points, which on a stage 2, that's pretty nice. We've got a stage 2 that's almost the same as an X. I'm kind of liking that. The whole fact though that Spiky Shield is just Rocky Helmet, and well, a lot of decks that ever decided to run Rocky Helmet found that Rocky Helmet was very easy to play around. It was just catcher, hit the guy with Rocky Helmet. There you go. Druddigan also had Rough Skin, which is the same ability but 1 damage counter less, and it didn't seem that much play, even with the ability to lock a Pokemon in the active position. So, whether Chestnut's going to be played with such a, I'm going to say lackluster, it could have been so much more, but it really isn't. With a lackluster ability and an attack that's 4 energy for 90, it's leaving a bit to be desired. That being said, I personally think though that Chestnut, actually out of the 3 starters, isn't bad. He's actually the worst of the 3. But that's not because he's bad. He's worse of the 3 because he's not as good as the other 2 in my opinion. To put that in context, well actually, let's move straight into Delphox right now, and you'll see where my context is coming from. Delphox is a standard Stage 2 Fire type, 140 hit points, weakness to water, retreat cost of 2, and it has the ability Mystical Fire. Mystical Fire, once per turn, allows you to draw until you have 6 cards in your hand. Any of my more veteran viewers may recognise this from Magnezone Prime's Magnetic Draw. And yeah, it's the exact same thing. Here's Delphox. Replenish my hand. Oh, got more cards. Oh, is that a Red Candy? No Delphox? Okay. Red Candy, no Delphox. Draw again. Because it doesn't limit it to once per turn you can use that ability, it limits it to once per turn per Delphox. So, you cripple your hand to get out a Delphox, replenish it. You have 2 Delphoxes, okay, I'll spend 3 cards, draw 3. I'll spend another 4 cards, draw 4. Spend some more cards, attack. It's not too bad, but right there I've just mentioned the word attack. What's Delphox's attack? Delphox has the attack Blaze Ball, which for 3 colours delivers 50 damage, plus 20 more damage for each fire energy attached to Delphox. Now right there I already see a very, very strong comparison to Keldeo. It's the same numbers, it's the same basic cost, and it's the same stipulation on extra damage. What this card lacks is the whole fact that it is weak to Delphox. No, it's not weak to Delphox, it's weak to Keldeo itself. And Keldeo is still a guy, Keldeo is still in format. And with Keldeo still being in format, Delphox is going to have a really tough time trying to make itself known in the format, especially being at stage 2. The only ideas I've heard behind Delphox so far are Delphox Emblem. That's 2 stage 2s. And yes, Mystical Fire allows you to draw more cards, so you can draw into Rare Candy, you can draw into Evolutionary Soda, a card I want to cover in just a little bit. The problem is though that when Delphox is weak to and has to contend with Keldeo, you're trying to set up 2 stage 2s where they're just stage 2 and a basic. And they've also got Mega Blastoise now, so that's stage 2 basic and a pseudo stage 1. So really, Delphox is up against it. Even with the extra draw, even with access to energy acceleration, it still has to be compared to Keldeo Blastoise, and Keldeo Blastoise is just faster, plus it hits it for weakness. Plus it has the ability to get Blastoise out of the active position whenever it wants to. So, at the moment, I wouldn't say Delphox is the best card, but that's just with the current format. If anything happens to cause a severe shift in the format, I could see Delphox becoming a lot more playable. Just for the whole fact that it draws cards, it's consistent, and it can allow you to go from here's one Delphox to here's two Delphox to here's the third Delphox very, very quickly. Major problem with that is if decking out becomes a thing anymore, then Delphox is going to struggle against that as well. But right now we've got one card in format that does that, and I don't see it really. I don't see that making any huge impact on the format just now. And now for the third and final Kalos starter, we have Greninja. Greninja is a standard water type stage 2 with 130 hit points, a retreat cost of 1, weakness to grass, and the ability Water Shuriken. Water Shuriken states that by discarding 1 water energy from your hand to the discard pile, you can place 3 damage counters on one of your opponent's Pokemon. Now this itself looks a lot like Chandeler's Cursed Flame, where if Chandeler was active it could place 3 damage counters on your opponent's Pokemon in any way it likes. Now Greninja does lack the versatility of Chandeler. It doesn't say any way you like, it's choose a Pokemon, 3 damage counters. It also has a different stipulation. It's instead of it having to be active, Greninja just has to discard a water energy. Which, with the cards we have in format right now, is a lot better. You get 2 Greninjas out of play, drop 2 water energy, 60 damage on the opponent's Pokemon. I'll use energy retrieval, I'll pick those 2 water energy up again. Oh look, I can do it again next turn, at effectively the cost of 1 card. Well, that's not the only thing that makes Greninja good. It also has the attack Mist Slash, which delivers 50 damage for 1 water energy. This attack also ignores weakness, resistance, and any other effects on the opponent's active Pokemon. So effectively, if you have 2 Greninjas out, you can drop 2 energy, put 60 down, Mist Slash, that's naturally guaranteed 50, they're 110 damage for 3 energy, but 2 of those energy have come straight from hand, you've not had to invest them onto the board. Plus Greninja still gets a straight 50 constantly. There's nothing to stop Greninja from going, here's 50, here's 50, here's another 50. Nothing really stops it, other than stopping Greninja from attacking. So yeah, he seems like a pretty unstoppable force, and out of the 3 of these starters, I see Greninja being the one with the most promising potential. We already have access to cards like Rare Candy, and well, alright, I'm gonna go straight into this card from Greninja. Alongside Greninja, we also get Evolutionary Soda. Put simply, Evolutionary Soda is a card that allows you to evolve straight from your deck. No cost, no stipulation, just do you have an evolving Pokemon in play? Play Evolutionary Soda, go into your deck, grab the evolution. It's that simple. So, something like Greninja, where you might need multiple in play, you've got them. You've got Rare Candy, you've got Evolutionary Soda, you've got different types of acceleration and consistency. Rare Candy is always going to go, here's your basic, here's your stage 2. Evolutionary Soda, it doesn't save you the turns because you can't evolve a Pokemon that's only just going to play, but you're evolving from deck, so you don't have to get the Pokemon to hand, play it down. You don't have to have your basic, grab the stage 2, and have Rare Candy. It's just, here's my basic, Evolutionary Soda, now it's a stage 1. Next turn, I'll grab the stage 2 and play it, or I'll even use another Evolutionary Soda. So you've basically used 2 cards to get to stage 2. Whereas using something like Ultra Ball, that takes 4 cards. Because it would be a case of, here's my basic, I'll Ultra Ball, pitching 2, so grab my stage 2, go down to stage 2. That's 4 cards there to get you stage 2. Whereas Evolutionary Soda, it might take extra turns, but it's 2 cards to get 2 cards. It's 2 cards to get to stage 2. So, we've covered the Fel starters, we've covered Mega Pokemon, and I've already covered Evolutionary Soda, which I was planning to actually do last. Let's look at what else this happy little set is bringing us. And the next thing I think that is worth mentioning will be Aegislash. In fact, we get 2 flavours of Aegislash. Both of them are stage 2s, both of them have 140 hit points, both have a retreat cost of 3, weakness to fire, and resistance to psychic, and both attack for 2 colourless and 2 metal energy. Another thing that they both have is the ability Stance Change. Stance Change effectively allows you to switch an Aegislash on your board for an Aegislash in your hand. And that's where having 2 Aegislashes really comes into play. They both have the same attack cost, but they have drastically different attacks. Because Aegislash has the attack Buster Swing, which for the aforementioned 2 metal double colourless does 120 damage. The attack is not affected by resistance, which I think is kind of odd because what Pokemon resist metal unless they're going to start putting that on electric types again? The second Aegislash has the ability. The second Aegislash has the attack King's Shield, which delivers 50 damage. During your opponent's next turn, prevent all damage done to this Pokemon by your opponent's attacks. This Pokemon cannot use King's Shield during your next turn. Now, right there, you might be able to see why you'd want to actually use 2 Aegislashes. You can change up your playstyle amazingly well with them. If you use King Shield last turn, well, you can't use it this turn. So use Stance Change, go into the other Aegislash, and deliver 120 damage. Now, a nice little quirk I've noticed about this is the whole fact that the way that damage adds up. Buster Swing is 120 damage. King Shield is 50 damage. So over 2 turns you're delivering 170 damage. Which is oddly enough about the same number of hit points that a lot of X's have. A lot of standard X's are either 180 or 170 hit points. So 2 turns, 2 prizes. Sounds like a good exchange. There is one thing though that our good friend Max actually pointed out to me that kind of makes the stance change a little pointless. And that's the whole fact that we have the whole combination of Keldeo and Floatstone, which means that no matter what happens to our active Pokemon, we can always switch it out and bring it straight back into the active position, wiping any statuses or effects. Now, stance change doesn't wipe away status conditions, damage counters, or effects on the Pokemon. So if you think, oh well, I just use stance change to go from a King Shield Aegislash into another one, because it's a different King Shield, because it's a different Aegislash, I can use King Shield again. It actually keeps the effect from the last King Shield. That carries over with stance change. Even though you're changing the card, the game is seeing it as it's the same Aegislash, it's just got a different attack. So, with that in mind, you could easily just go, here's Aegislash with King Shield, do my 50 damage, I'm immune next turn, come into my next turn, rush in with Keldeo, free retreat, oh, I can King Shield again. That being said though, stance change was a huge thing that was put on Aegislash for the video game. They have to include it into the game somehow. And this isn't any different from Justice's old transformation. It is basically the exact same thing. The only real difference is the whole fact that stance change is from hand and not from your deck. I don't mind it being stance change. You could have put both attacks on the same Aegislash, but stance change gives you an interesting mechanic to work with. Stance change also means that later on they can print new Aegislash cards that have the same stance change, but they have a different typing or different style of attack or different weaknesses. But just remember, Aegislash is a steel ghost Pokemon. We've got 2 metal Aegislashes now. What's to stop them using the second XY set to release a ghost Aegislash with stance change? All of a sudden you can actually swap and change weaknesses and resistances, and that could be a pretty nice gimmick to have. But enough banging on about that, let's move on to what I think is the last. Yeah, let's move on to what is the last new Pokemon in the set. And that Pokemon is, oddly enough, Talonflame. Talonflame has seen a lot of popularity over on the competitive video game scene, and with good reason. The ability Gale Wings giving you priority on everything is just a bit silly. But now we actually have a Talonflame card, and Gale Wings doesn't really work on a card. So let's see what we've got here. Once again, it's a stage 2, and this set seems to be all about the stage 2s. A stage 2 Fire-type Pokemon with 130 hit points, and 0 retreat cost, a weakness to lightning, and a resistance to fighting. It also has 2 attacks. The first attack is Blow Away, which for 1 colorless energy forces your opponent to shuffle their hand back into their deck and then draw 4 cards. Which I'm of 2 minds about. If this was on a basic Pokemon, it would be amazing. But on stage 2, it only really helps if your opponent has gone for like a mid-game. It only helps if your opponent's gone for a mid-game Tropical Beach, where they can actually turn around and say, "Oh, you want 7 cards? Enjoy going into your turn with only 4 cards in hand." That being said, there's no damage output on that. So, what does Talonflame do? Well, for 2 fire energy, Talonflame can use the attack Flare Blitz, which discards both its fire energies but deals 100 damage. Now, 2 energy for 100 damage is pretty damn good, so I'll be honest, I do like the look of this. The major problem with that is the whole fact that you're discarding all of your fire energy. So, attach 2, do 100, discard 2. It's 100 every other turn. It does hit cards like Genesect for weakness, but Genesect for some reason isn't seeing that much play. And really I can't think of much else that would really help Talonflame. You could go for the whole Emboar thing, so it's a case of Emboar, energy retrieval, attach 2, discard a 2 next turn, energy retrieval, pick up 2, attach, 100 damage. But once again we have the same problem with Delphox. That means setting up 2 stage 2s, and in this format can we say that that's incredibly viable? Especially when, oddly enough, both these stage 2s are fire types. Talonflame might be weak to electric instead of water, but it's got 130 hit points. Your opponent invests 1 extra energy onto a Keldeo, Talonflame's gone. That's all of your setup out the window. With that in mind though, I do actually like the way this whole set is shaping up. It's all about stage 2 so far. We've got Talonflame, Aegislash, Chestnut, Delphox, Greninja. We've got so many stage 2 Pokemon just like coming up to say hello. And it's great to see. It's great to see, and from what I've seen, none of them are particularly bad. Some of them might not be as good as we really hoped, or they might just be lacking due to the format, but that's the nature of any card game. No matter how good cards are, even if your archetype or type or just what you want to run doesn't get the support, then it's not going to be as good as everything else. Doesn't mean it's necessarily bad. But with all that said, what do you guys think? Let me know down below. And until next time, I've been Red Joey. You guys are top percent. Peace out.
Do 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 do. Evolution Soda.